Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with the great John Wolton, who is a volunteer helper of the Jaywick flood, and he's given us an exclusive interview today of how it was to be here, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope the future generations are going to make the most of this to realise that we've met a great legend like this, who is still doing the same thing today as he always has done. And I've got a few questions here that I put together to ask John, so I hope everyone's okay with this, and it's about the Jaywick flood of 1953. And my first question to John is, which he's already said in an interview, but he might get more questions going. So the first question, John, was how old was you when the flood happened?
I was 19 years of age.
19 years of age. And and you lived in Holland, which is very nice.
I lived in Holland on Sea.
Yep. And did you have many connections with Jaywick before the flood? Did you have days out here and stuff?
Well, yes, we used to go to Jaywick, and we would very often walk to the top of St John's Road.
Yep.
Jaywick Lane, walk down and walk back along the seafront.
So you had fond memories of Jaywick?
Yes, yes.
And how was Jaywick in what was your first year you came to Jaywick? What was your first earliest memory of Jaywick? Mine was around 1982, and I remember seeing the seawall at the end of Seaway, and I remember seeing how it was all sloped, and I thought, wow, it's a holiday village. And that was my first memory of Jaywick, 1982.
Yeah, well, mine would have been probably the first I can recall would have been about 1936.
Wow.
Before the war.
Wow. And what was Jaywick? That it had the miniature railway here then?
Miniature railway.
Do you remember the miniature railway?
Yes.
Did you ever go on it?
Yes.
Wow. What was that like?
Well, it was wonderful because we went right the way along, basically along the dike, and also the bus station. I can see the bus station now as it used to be.
Amazing.
With the old Eastern National buses going in and out.
You're one of the only people I've ever met that has been on the Jaywick Miniature Railway.
Yeah. Wow,
that's phenomenal. That is history in itself, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent.
And then we had what I was referring to before, because of no sewers in Jaywick at that time in the Brooklands and the Grasslands.
Yes.
We had the tanker that would come round regularly. We called the honey wagon.
And it took all the old waste away.
It took all the waste.
The honey wagon, that's a good name for it. Well, this is history, ladies and gentlemen. This is our history. And to meet a man that had been on the Jaywick Miniature Railway, now that is history, because not a lot of people even know the Jaywick Miniature Railway existed. And do you know that in the late 1930s, Jaywick was the 5th most popular attraction in Britain for French people to go to?
Yeah.
So there must have been a lot of French people around Jaywick.
Yeah.
And you actually remember meeting them?
No.
No.
No, they would be coming down for their holidays and that.
But yes.
All over this area, you see that just prior to 1939, when the war broke out.
Yes.
In Jaywick especially, there were entrepreneurs or masons that came down from London.
Yes.
That had laid down roads, concrete roads in Jaywick, to build houses, and there were certain houses and bungalows that were built in the Tudor style. That's why it was known as the Tudor estate.
Gotcha.
That exists today, and I could take you down to them, the houses.
In the summer, please.
Yeah.
Do that.
They exist today where they were built then, but because of the war, they built them for speculation.
Got you.
And waiting for people to come in, and then of course that was all closed down
because of the war.
During the war, and it was 1960 before they actually started rebuilding Jaywick, and carrying on on the roads that they'd actually put in before 1939.
Wow!
And it was a nightmare because the roads were so poor; they were slabs of concrete. If you had the electricity board and the gas board and the water board, they cut holes in the concrete to get their services from one side of the road to the other. There was no really backfilling.
Wow.
You got these, at that time they were bringing these heavy brick lorries down.
Yep.
And of course they were sinking, and tabletops of concrete were coming up and things like that.
Nightmare.
So it was a nightmare. But they eventually got it all sorted out. But there were no end of people, you see, that were building. There were no end of people that were building at that time that came out of the forces, and they took on
private companies and stuff.
development and that, so that they
Yeah.
would know how to develop the places. You see, so that was where there was a small developers.
I'm just going to stop this so we can have a breather. One second, John. Thank you for that.